ready to cook a Father's Day meal that any man will be proud of? Grilled ribeye steak with homemade chimichurri and roasted potatoes, all on the Weber. Let's get started. All right, let's make some Worcestershire butter. I've got a half a stick of unsalted butter here. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of good old sea salt. A couple turns, I'm gonna go some fresh cracked black pepper. I'm gonna hit a sprig of my everyday rub in here. I'm gonna come back with some garlic paste, just a little bit. I'm gonna take this old W sauce right here. Love the flavor of this stuff. I'm gonna put about a tablespoon in. That's all I'm gonna put in. Let's get this all mashed up. I think my butter's not quite soft out here. We'll work it around. Now, once you kind of get that all mixed around, that's all I'm looking for. I'm gonna take a little bit of, that's plenty of salt, plenty of everything else. I'm gonna get this back in the fridge, let it set up. I'm gonna put a big dollop on this nice ribeye steak when I'm done, and you guys will see it's gonna be very flavorful and give it the flavor that we're looking for. Make this Father's Day special, be sure to grab you a bag of rolled oak charcoal. And there's a few things that every dad likes, and that's a good steak and a good cold beer. I'll leave the last thing up. Well, never mind. Let's go ahead and get this grill lit up. Now today I'm using these super-sized rolled oak briquettes here. I love these briquettes. They're a little bit bigger than some of the others out there on the market. They burn clean, they burn hot. Ain't nothing like that when you're cooking a good ribeye steak. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to take some tumbleweeds here. I'm going to get my chimney kind of lit up. Let's go ahead and take our flame saber, get these lit. Let this charcoal get to smoking and smothering down, and we're gonna get ready to cook a ribeye steak. The first thing we wanna do to these roasted potatoes to get started, I've got a bowl here. I've took my potatoes and kind of washed them off in a colander. So I've got a full bag of Petite Gold Gourmet potatoes, 24 ounces. Take you a whole bowl. I'm gonna get them up here in my glass bowl now. I'm gonna take a little bit of olive oil and go over that. You know, one of the biggest things about roasting potatoes is making sure you got enough butter. You want that butter to brown on the grill, not burn. A little bit of brown butter, baste these potatoes with as they go. Kind of get all that olive oil kind of coated around on those potatoes. And I'm going with our classic garlic butter rub. This is one of our best sellers here. There's a lot of other garlic butters out there. Be sure to try them if you want to. Completely up to you. We're kind of a little bit partial ourselves. Our garlic butter is probably the best selling garlic butter in the country. I can honestly say that. Once you get all these potatoes seasoned up like you want them, you can even throw in some herbs in here or whatever. Now I do have a pack of garlic. I'm a big garlic fan. Now I'm gonna go ahead and throw them in this cast iron dish here I've got. See my garlic and all. And I'm gonna start laying some butter in here. Now these potatoes are not gonna take long on the grill. Get them all layered around there. We'll come back with a little more of that garlic butter rub. Now these are ready to go on the grill. That simple, that easy. It does not take long to make a delicious side dish. You can throw it in the oven or on the grill. It's completely up to you. Let's get them on the grill, get them going. All right, you can see our coals are good and caught up here. There's only a few on top that's not all the way gray. The bottom of them are starting to turn. I'm gonna go ahead and dump because I'm gonna roast some potatoes on the grill first in a cast iron skillet. So I've got my heat setting set where it's not open, but maybe a ½ inch on the bottom. So let's go ahead and get it thrown in. Now I'm gonna set up for 2-zone grilling here. And what I mean by 2-zone grilling here, if you take half of that grate, and I've got half of that charcoal over here and no heat over here, it's a lot easier to work and cook steaks when you're set up for a 2-zone fire. That way you're not overcooking your steak. It's not gonna be directly over that hot coal the whole time. So nothing like that. So let me grab my skillet of potatoes and we're gonna get a grill lid on this grill. Now you can see we've got our Yeti cast iron pan. I'm gonna kind of push it over to one side here, kind of get these potatoes roasting. If you're wanting to pick you up a set of these heat gloves like this, they're available on our website. You can reach and pick up one of these hot coals right here and move it around. It's not gonna burn you. That's why I really like working with these heat gloves like this to keep those charcoal off your hands. So let's go ahead and get this on the Weber here. Get our air vents opened up about halfway. And I'm gonna see what it comes up to. I'm gonna adjust my temp. As long as I'm running in that 400 degree mark, over, under a little bit, I'm perfectly fine. That's what I'm looking for. It can even scale on up to almost 500 because I'm gonna get this grill a little bit hotter to cook that steak. I like around 550 degrees to cook a steak on grill grates. So we'll get the grill grates on here in a little bit later as soon as these potatoes get about 3/4 of the way done. So this air vent right here is what controls your air. That's barely open. I've got it halfway between here, so that air vent's gonna literally be about that wide open there is all we got of a hole right up in there. You can see we're running about 425 degrees, which I'm fine with roasting those potatoes at that temp. All right, we'll be back in about 30 minutes to look at our potatoes. All right, our potatoes have been on about 30 minutes here. We're still running about 425 to 450 degrees. I've opened the grill lid a couple times and kind of bounced them potatoes around there. They're starting to roast off really good. That butter is browning. Now I'm just gonna keep roasting these potatoes. I'm gonna give them about another 20 minutes. And then we're gonna be back over here to get that grill grate on and cook a beautiful ribeye steak. You know, Father's Day is right around the corner, and one way to please Dad is with a beautiful ribeye steak. And when I walked by this beautiful spinalis and heart of this ribeye right here, it was calling my name. Heath, Heath, get me! I brought it home, I had to. And so any father would be proud to have this ribeye steak. Let me show you guys how I cook a ribeye steak. It's been a long time since I cooked a ribeye at home. I'm usually more of a filet man because that's what my wife picks up. But I love a good ribeye. So, you know, rubbing that down in a little bit of olive oil, kind of getting that coated around on the edges. I'm just gonna keep it simple today with just a little bit of my beef rub. That is it. And so this has got a good peppery note. That's what I love when I'm cooking steaks. I'm gonna go on the sides first. After you get a good coat of rub down, I'm gonna let this set here a few minutes and just kind of get a little bit ambient while we get our grill ready to grill this steak off. You can see the nice pepper notes that it picks up from that beef rub. My beef rub is a sleeper rub. If you've ever tried it once on heavy beef, it's the one rub you don't need a lot of. It's got pepper, but you want a good peppery coat on any kind of thick piece of meat. It's like a brisket or like a steak. I like that peppery note that it gives us. So let's get over here and check on our potatoes, kind of see where they are on our Weber, and then we're gonna get ready to sear a steak off. All right, we're still running over 400 degrees here, about 420 degrees. I'm gonna take my lid off. I've actually went ahead and put my grill grate on here a while ago, so let it kind of get ambient. You can see our potatoes. I'm gonna get this set to the side over here and get ready to grill a steak. These potatoes look perfect. As you can see, we've got our Weber running at 500 degrees. We have our grill grates on here. You can see I've got my steak seasoned up. It's been laying out here getting ambient for about 20 minutes. So I think we're gonna be all great. So the first thing I wanna do, I'm gonna take and get a little bit of oil on these new grill grates. Just gonna put a little bit down there like that. You see the back of that steak and everything else? Let's get it down. You hear that sizzle? I'm gonna let it go down. I'm gonna get this grill lid on. And I'm gonna wait about 1.5 minutes, okay? All right, we've been searing about 1.5 minutes. You see that's got some beautiful grill marks. Now, we'll go down about another 1.5 minutes, just like this. Let it keep going. All right, now we're gonna get back in here. I'm gonna set this grill lid down. Now I do have on a heat glove underneath here, and you can see that we got great grill marks on that side as well. But you know, kind of cleaning this off. See how easy that comes off, not letting it get it caked on? Now, I'm gonna go back down. Push that down, let it go about another 2 minutes on that side. All right, it's been another minute and a half. Take my tool here, and I get underneath. Look at that. That right there is what you call a beautiful steak for Dad. Let's go another minute and a half. Okay, it's been another minute and a half, so we've had a total cook time of about 6 minutes right now. Six and a half, something like that, on and off. I'm gonna get in here, and so we flipped it and rotated, made sure that steak cooked even. We're sitting at about 108 degrees right now. So I'm gonna let that steak come on up on its own. I moved it off to the side over here. But you know, the one thing that I didn't do yet, and that is take this Worcestershire butter that we've got. And then, you know, I made this Worcestershire butter up a while ago. Kind of let it sit out here and almost make like a paste, right? So I'm gonna take a little bit of brush here, and I'm just gonna kind of go on. We're gonna let this ribeye come on up to temp. I like pulling my ribeye around 127, 28 degrees, 125 is fine, somewhere up in there. So we've got it about another 15, 17 degrees to go. So we'll get it off. I'm gonna give the timer about 4 or 5 minutes, and I'll check it again. I don't wanna overcook this steak. Remember, this is for me, the main dad. All right, it's been another 3 minutes. I had peeked at it just a second ago. Look at that. That is great. I'm going in here, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm calling this steak for me. It's done for me right there. I'm calling it. Let's get over here and put a little more of that Worcestershire butter on this side, and that's all we need. Now, while my steak is resting here, I'm gonna take some foil, kind of tint that thing. I'm gonna let it set here a few minutes before I slice my steak. The reason I'm doing that steak has been on a hot grill. All those juices are gonna start running out of that steak immediately if I cut it. If I let it set here about 4 to 5 minutes and rest, it's gonna suck those juices back up into that steak. You're gonna have a moist, juicy, tender steak the whole time you eat it. If you've ever been to a restaurant, you cut your steak when they bring it out and all the liquid runs out on the plate, they didn't let that steak rest before they brought it to you. That's not a good steakhouse. Remember, the key to a good steak is letting it rest. You have to rest it. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, here's the big reveal. It's been about 5 minutes. Oh yeah. This steak is rested up, beautiful. Go ahead and pick this thing up. Oh yeah. Get it over on my cutting board. I'm gonna go ahead and cut into my steak here. Oh yeah. A good medium to medium rare is what I'm looking for. Man, let's keep slicing it. You know, look at how beautiful that steak is. The light probably don't do it justice. That's nice medium rare right there. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, that is so good. I'm gonna get this steak now. I wanted all this brown butter over here in this skillet, kind of spread out. Look at that beautiful piece of medium rare steak. You guys wouldn't believe the flavor if I told it to you. Wow. When I get this steak up here like this though, the one thing that I really, really like to do, I've got a little bit of chimichurri left over. So for anybody that hadn't used my good buddy's Alfragone's chimichurri out of a bottle, and all you do is mix your olive oil and your red wine vinegar with it, you should really give it a try. Dishes like this, when all you gotta do is come in here and lay a little bit of that down. I wish y'all could smell this. This chimichurri smells awesome. I made it a couple days ago to let all the flavors marry together. You can come in here and this steak like this right here, that is an incredible, incredible dad dish that every dad would love, no doubt. A beautiful ribeye steak and roasted potatoes on the Weber grill. Simple and easy, anyone can do it. That Worcestershire butter takes it to a whole nother level. Remember, we put this steak on, we cooked it about 500 degrees. We done basically 3 minutes per side and then moved it over and let it rest. If you want yours on a little more rare, I would only cook it about 6 minutes. This had a total cook time of about 8.5 minutes. It was about 1.25 inches thick. That used to be my standard time in SCA. You could just about be willing to bet a steak between 1.25 inches and 1.5 inches. The grill running at 550 degrees was gonna need about 8 minutes total cook time. That was just one of those things I had in my mind. But this steak right here, there's only one thing left to do, and that's get in here and try a bite. Now I think the one piece I'm gonna go in here and go for, it's hard for me not to pick this beautiful piece out right here with that chimichurri on it. And I'm gonna go ahead and get me one of these little baby roasters just like that, set it up there, and let's try this old one bite right here. The Worcestershire butter, the chimichurri, the brown butter from the potatoes in this skillet that picked up a little bit on the bottom of that steak. We pretty much nailed the doneness with a perfect medium rare. I'm gonna tell you, that chimichurri puts it over the top, that little bit of herby feeling though. It's got fresh garlic in it. I made it just like Alfagoni's recipe on the back of the bottle, except I added a teaspoon of minced garlic, fresh minced garlic. I'm here to tell you guys, this is a killer dish. Be sure to make it for your dad or dad. Tell your wife to pick you up a steak at the store. This is a man-worthy meal, no doubt. If you like what we're doing on our channel, be sure to like, subscribe, follow along. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, and of course YouTube. I'll see you next week with another video.